Hello everyone and welcome back to part 2 of our ZX Spectrum 48K restoration project. Now at the end of part 1 we'd replaced our Speccy CPU with a brand new genuine Zilog CPU. We also upgraded the power regulator to a modern alternative so we didn't need to worry about replacing the missing heatsink. This got our Speccy back up and running, but it still looks battered, and so in today's video we're going to focus on trying to make this little machine look as good as new. But just before we do that, I just want to get you up to speed on a couple of maintenance jobs I performed off camera. Firstly, I've replaced all of the capacitors with good quality new items. I've also replaced C5 to C8 with 220 nanofarad capacitors, as this is supposed to reduce on-screen gel bars and clean up the image a bit. With that said, let's get back to focus on how this machine looks. To do that, we're first going to need to remove the old faceplate. This is glued down, and on some models there are also 4 brass tabs that can very easily be bent back. I'm using a small pair of pliers for this job. Once that's done, we can flip the case back over and break out a tool I've not needed for my hair for at least the last decade. Or 2. Or 2.5. And that is of course a hairdryer. I'd just like to stress that I'm not sponsored by Tresemme or Philips. In fact, there's more chance of Elvis and Tupac releasing a single together than there is of me being sponsored by Tresemme. Now the idea is to use the hairdryer to heat up the glue holding the faceplate down so that we can then use something like this plastic razor to pry up and remove the old faceplate. And yuck, talk about disgusting. It looks like someone has vaporised a hamster or two on the inside of this thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure that if we looked at whatever this stuff is under a microscope, we'd find an entire ecosystem living happily under that old faceplate. Luckily, we can now go ahead and remove the old keymat and put it where it belongs, in an incinerator. We can also go ahead and remove the old keyboard membrane. This just lifts straight out. Now at this stage we need to recruit the help of our favourite retro tech cleaning specialist, Derek the Dolphin. In fact, I've heard rumours that they never made a Jaws 5 film because Derek had a word with Jaws and told him to stop eating people. I've also heard that Derek is the only thing that Chuck Norris is afraid of. The case is coming up great, but there's still quite a lot of glue left over from the old faceplate. To remove this, I'm going to use some Goo Gone. With the case clean and the glue gone, we can start piecing our Speccy back together. But before we do that, we need to repaint the Spectrum logo. I've opted for some silver model paint, and thankfully my other half has agreed to do this for me. I'm just too clumsy for delicate jobs like this. That's better, and with that done we can move on to reassembling our keyboard. First up is a brand new keyboard membrane. These are aftermarket parts of course, but I'm pleased to report that this one fitted perfectly. Next up is a brand new rubber keymat, and at this stage I just want to say how impressed I am that replacement parts like this are still available in 2020. It really does help keep these old machines alive, and like the membrane, this replacement keymat is excellent quality and fitted perfectly. And lastly, we've got a brand new replacement faceplate. This is another aftermarket part and is available in many colours, but I've opted for black to keep our Spectrum original. And with that said, I'll go ahead and get this fitted, which means we're ready for our big reveal montage. I'm so pleased with how our Spectrum 48K project turned out. It looks almost new, and whilst I appreciate that I've used a lot of aftermarket parts, this project wouldn't have been possible without them. So with that said, I'm going to relax and play some Speccy classics. If you've enjoyed this project, please let me know by hitting the thumbs up button. I'd also really appreciate it if some of you would subscribe to the channel. It encourages me to make more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video.
Yeah.